everyone to another powerful episode of Mind Over Masculinity, the podcast where we explore the crossroads of men's mental health, purpose, and the leadership. I'm your host Avik, and dear listeners, today we are diving into a fascinating lens for the self leadership, which is the human design. Yeah. And now, most men have been conditioned to chase. What chase? Success. Yeah. Success using someone else's playbook, which is grind harder, push more, ignore your inner signals. But what if your mental health and the success depend not on forcing yourself into a formula, but on understanding the way you are uniquely designed to operate? That's a great thing, right? And to help us on this, I'm joined by a lovely guest today. Please welcome Stephanie. Welcome to the show, Stephanie.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I appreciate you having me on. This is going to be great.
Amazing. And dear listeners, before we delve deep into the discussion, I would love to introduce you with Stephanie. So, Stephanie is a human design strategist for the entrepreneurs and teams and a certified high performance coach. So, after 13 years of trying, failing, and burning out in the business, she found that human design and used it to rebuild in a way that actually fit. And now she helps others ditch the one size fits all strategies and step into the clarity, confidence, and the sustainable growth. So I'll not take much of your time, dear listeners. Let's explore this together, like how men can use human design as a tool for the self leadership, emotional balance, and the realigned success. So, welcome to the show again, Stephanie.
Thank you. I'm super excited.
Amazing. So Stephanie, I want to share this first. Like, a lot of men equate the leadership with the control, like over their business, family, even themselves also. So, from that perspective, like, how does human design reframe the leadership from being about control to being about alignment?
Yeah. So, self leadership, it all starts with self leadership. And when you understand your human design the deepest way, in a way that really teaches you how to lead, how to serve, how to, how you're meant to move through the world, really, it really takes that pressure off of the typical leadership you know, mindset of I need to control, I need it to go this way, I need to go this way, because you finally understand the flow of you and the flow of those around you. And it really takes that pressure off, and things just naturally happen. When I started implementing human design into my business, I let go of the control because I trusted myself, and I have never done that before. And everything just kind of fell into place. Everything worked out because I learned to just trust my inner knowing, trust myself, and not listen to any external influence or ideas about how leadership needs to work. And that includes self leadership.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, if a man has what to say, like, if a man has been leading from the force and burnout for the years, what do you say, like, what's the first place like he can start to shift into the alignment?
Yeah. So burnout is so normalized anymore. Burnout, overwhelm, exhaustion. It's just we've kind of gotten to the place where this is how it's supposed to be, but we are starting to wake up as society to understand this actually isn't how it's supposed to be. And that's one of my missions, is to help people see that burnout is not a badge of honor anymore. It's not something that is normal. And when you start to understand that burnout has nothing to do with the amount of things that you have to do on your plate, it has everything to do with the alignment or misalignment to those things. And so when someone says that they're burnt out, first of all, I we always look at what are the things on your plate that you're doing, that you're working on, that you do every day that you really have no joy and passion in. And so that's a big place where I like to start with my clients. But when you again understand your design, and it actually teaches you how you're meant to be seen, how you're what the traits in other people that you can see the best. When you start to align with that, the burnout becomes less and less and less because you have something called your authority in your human design, which tells you your decision making process. And when you connect with that part of you, it changes everything. You say no when you mean no and yes when you mean yes, and some people are meant to wait for the emotional waves to get over if if they have an emotional authority before they respond. So I think it's just that it's super important to really get to know yourself first and lead from that place, and everything else that's not necessary or that's not aligned with you will fall away naturally.
Exactly. Yep. I mean, that's so powerful because uh, many men listening right now probably feel that they have been sprinting on the wrong track for years.
Yeah.
And I mean, hearing the leadership can start with alignment rather than pressure actually feels like the permission to breathe. Like,
Mm.
oh, so yeah. And also, like you said, the problem wasn't you. Uh, it was trying to live by the formulas that were designed for you. But so how common is this in men? Like, what impact does it have on their mental health when they feel like they are the problem?
Yeah. So, one thing that I will say about human design is that it does not put you in a box, but it sheds a light on the box that you put yourself in, not on purpose. And, men struggle with this a lot because they do have you need to do this, you need to take this step, you need to provide, you need to hustle and grind and completely disconnect from themselves in that way. You're a lot of people are not actually meant to sit in a cubicle. That will literally I always say in my business before I knew my human design, I slowly died in my business. People that are in jobs or building something that they really don't love, they will slowly just lose themselves. And they don't realize it, but it's spreading out to everybody that they love. It's spreading out to everybody that is close to them, especially for generators. And I think it's just crucial to understand that this is the new era. If you didn't know about that, the new era of the individual where we have to come home to ourselves and figure out how we are meant to lead and guide and teach and learn because everything else is going to fall away. The hustle, the pressure, the we can't survive anymore on that. And so that should be a deep, a sigh of relief for people to understand that this new era is starting right now, and that's why a lot of people are looking for other things that they have purpose in because we can't function that way anymore. It's not realistic. And it was never meant to be. We were never meant to function like this.
Exactly. Yep. So, like, I mean, how does the human design help men untangle that kind of self blame instead of see that they're writing as a kind of strength?
Yeah. So I tell people the very first step you need to do is just tune out the noise for a little bit and learn your design because what happens when you learn your human design is you become so okay with being you. It's very, very fascinating. The pressure goes away, the other external validation goes away, and you become so okay with being you and your purpose in this life and the piece of the puzzle that you have in humanity that everything else falls away and it becomes so clear and you just learn to shut out the other noise. And I think, we know now that there's so much noise. I did a podcast episode yesterday on this. There's so much noise in our lives from the minute we wake up to the minute we go to bed. And the more we can learn to shut that off and go internal and understand ourselves, we won't have that pressure to do a specific thing in a specific way. It will fall away. It really, really will.
That's interesting. I mean, that actually resonates as well because so many men I meet actually carry uh, the silent guilt, thinking that maybe I'm just not good enough. That is the exact thinking I have realized from people. And your point about wiring actually helps flip that story. So definitely, yep,
Yeah, for sure.
yep. So, like, also wondering, like, in the business and life, like, we are told that success, it means the constant hustle.
Mhm.
But as you discover that your design required a different rhythm. So, how do men recognize, like, when hustle is helping them grow versus when it's slowly destroying them? So, what do you say?
Yeah, so it goes back to, again, knowing your design. I will give you an example. As a generator, if you have the energy to do what you love endlessly, and so when you go to bed at night, if you struggle to fall asleep, if you can't shut your mind off, if you are just struggling with overthinking everything, then you are not in alignment with what you're doing every day, because you should be able to just go to bed and that overwhelm is not there. And so it's just it is about learning when you're meant to rest, when you're meant to lead, when you're meant to guide. And the more you can understand that, the easier it's going to be. And when you are feeling the exhaustion, the frustration,
Mm,
the overwhelm, and that seeps into other parts of your life, that's when you know you're misaligned. That's when you know that, wait a minute, I need to kind of look at things and maybe recalibrate, restructure what I'm doing in a different
mm,
way. It's super important to understand that piece, because we're not all energy beings, but generators are, and so they over do themselves a lot by saying yes to everything that they think they should say yes to, when half of it is not even aligned to them. That's where the burnout comes in.
mm. No, correct, definitely. And uh, when we're talking about the burnout as well, so one more thing, like, if you suggest, like, what signs should men watch for in their body, or maybe the mindset that say that you are out of alignment right now?
Mhm. Yeah, negativity. I mean, the first thing that comes up is a negative response to a situation. Uh, Frustration, anger, exhaustion, just having no energy at the end of the day. Really not creating that space for, or having the mindset of, I don't have time to take care of myself. Um, those are all signs of just overdoing it, misalignment, and really completely disconnected to yourself. And also, one thing for just a little tip, one thing for those of you who have emotional authority in your design, a lot of times you will say yes to things right away and end up regretting them and later. So that's another point where you need to understand that I should have waited till my emotional wave was over before I responded. So I think it's just knowing that when you are aligned with your design, you feel peaceful, you feel purposeful, you feel alive and excited every day, and you are able to sleep very well at night. So when it's not aligned with your design, it's the opposite.
Got it. Got it. And like, many men fear that if they follow their natural design, they will lose their age or maybe the ambition as well. So, almost like slowing down means falling behind. So, how do you address that fear?
Yeah, so I don't know if you've ever heard of
Mhm.
the quote, "Slow down to speed up."
Mm,
Um, and the more we the what when we're pushing and hustling and grinding, we are blocking everything that's meant for us, and we will not get the success we desire or deserve, because we are so against how we were created to be here, that we will block it all. And when we slow down and really be mindful of the choices we're making, the decisions the thoughts we're thinking, all these things, and create an aligned life with our human design, yes, it's slower, but it's so much more peaceful, and the results and the things you desire come in way quicker. I know it sounds backwards, but the clients I've worked with, when they have slowed down, taken off of their plate the things that don't have to be on their plate that they don't even wanna do, they things just flood in, and it's very fascinating, but we were never meant to be doers, when we were born, and people are finally understanding that. So, yeah, that hopefully that's helpful.
Got it. Yep. I mean, it'll be really great. I mean, if you can share any example from a client, no need to take the name, where working with your design actually led to the greater results.
Yeah, so I have several. Um, I have several clients who are, they work in corporate jobs. I have one in particular who he he just really did not like his job. It was sucking everything out of him, but he had this fear of, if I leave or do anything else, I will lose everything. And so we talked about his design, and I explained to him, you're a generator, and you, especially going to a job that you really don't like every single day, is so far away from your design, because you are that energy being that has such an open aura. And so we found, we talked about the fact that you have to find something within your day when you can't quit your job to that you love, that brings you joy and passion. And so he found that on the side and started to create something with his skills and his knowledge that he loved, and brought him excitement every night before bed. And then a job opportunity fell in his lap, that was perfect fit for him. That was a great transition. So that's what I mean. The more you just relax and know that things are working in your favor, and trusting your design, even with these little tweaks, things just fall in your lap. Um, it happens to every single client who is a business owner, who is in a corporate team, whatever it might be. It always, always happens when they actually trust and follow and turn off that noise. And what I mean by turn off the noise is, stop scrolling social media, stop watching the news, stop being in this fear comparison game trap, because that will slowly take you away from who you naturally are.
Mm, exactly. Mhm. So, I mean, if a leader starts honoring his own design, um, how does that ripple into his team or culture? What do you say?
Yeah. It changes everything. I mean, we are every single human being is connected in some way, and when we are able to self-lead like this, when I have leaders of teams who learn their human design, it
Mm,
trickles down. They see their leader become patient, become passionate, become excited, become just on fire. And especially when the leaders take another step and want to learn their team's human design, that's when everything changes, because that's when people get to see themselves also, and get to see how someone interacts with them based on that, where they feel seen and heard and validated. And, it starts with self leadership. If you're not able to self lead
mm,
in a way that creates just positive momentum in your life, then it's going to
mm.
trickle down to everyone else.
Exactly. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. So, okay, and if I say that uh, some people might argue that men don't need the human design. So this is I'm saying about the contradictory part, which is it's not contradictory, but actually discussing it, which we often hear sometimes. So, uh, and also they need a kind of great discipline and the resilience. So, how do you respond to that mindset?
So it's always my favorite thing when men reach out, because it is a little bit harder for them to. because of this societal conditioning, because of how we've been conditioned, it's harder for them to really come home to this and come home to themselves. I say before the world told you who to be, come home yourself before the world told you who to be. But men find it harder because of that conditioning and of what is everybody else doing around us. And so my thought to them is, if you are in a place where you are frustrated, burnt out, overwhelmed, and you know that it doesn't have to be like that, you are starting to see that and feel that, which I believe many men are, because I've had lots of men clients come to me and ask for help, that you will start to unravel why you're feeling that way the more you lean into your design. And I think that we need more men to step up into who they were designed to be. Because like I said, your human design actually tells you your purpose, your profitability, like it tells you so much about you. It's so nuanced and it's so exciting, but we need more men to step up. We need more men to stop being so burnt out and frustrated and, you know, putting that pressure on themselves, because it's not fair to them and it's not fair to everybody else around them. It's time to quiet that noise of hustle and grind, and this is how I'm gonna be successful, because at the end of the day, we're not here to hustle and grind till the day we die. We are here to understand why we're here and navigate that with ease and passion and joy and purpose. And until I found my human design, I lacked that. And I I always thought something was wrong with me, but deep down I knew who I was. I just needed something to tell me, which is what human design did.
Exactly. Exactly true. Lovely, lovely, Stephanie. I mean, thank you so much for sharing and showing us that leadership isn't about squeezing ourselves into kind of someone else's mold, but it's all about unlocking the design that was already written into us. So
Yes.
that's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And for every man who is listening, or maybe you'll be listening, if you have been hustling, grinding, and still feeling like something is missing, then maybe it's not that you are broken. Maybe you have uh, just been following that wrong blueprint, right? And so I invite you to take Stephanie's wisdom, explore your human design, and begin to lead yourself from a place of alignment rather than exhaustion. Because when you show up that way, you don't just change your business or your career, you change the way you show up as a man, a partner, a father, and a leader. So, Stephanie, if someone wants to connect with you, how they can connect?
Yes, I always say the first thing is to get your design. I have a free chart, a PDF, and an audio report that you can grab, but stefcarlstead.com is my website, and I think that it's just starting there, starting to really uncover why you felt the way you felt, because if you're here and you're listening, you probably have this desire to remove the overwhelm and the frustration and the burnout, and it's time to understand how, and it's right at your fingertips, so I would love to help.
Exactly. Lovely. Great. So, dear listeners, thanks for listening and thanks for being into the show of Mind Over Masculinity. And this is your host, Avik. And until next time, remember that true strength is not about fitting in, but it's all about standing tall in who you already are. So, thank you so much.
Yes.